Have you ever watched someone effortlessly start a conversation, make people laugh, and leave a lasting impression, while you stood there unsure of what to say? Maybe you've hesitated to approach new people, worried about saying the wrong thing, or found yourself trapped in awkward silences. Be honest. Has this ever happened to you? Let me know in the comments. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. But here's the secret. Great conversations aren't just a gift. You can learn them like any other skill, and once you do, you'll never have to struggle with what to say again. Today, we're diving into How to Start a Conversation and Make Friends by Don Gabor, a book that unlocks the secrets of confident, engaging communication. By the end of this summary, you'll know exactly how to start conversations, keep them flowing, and build real connections without the fear of awkwardness or rejection. Now, imagine this. You walk into a room, spot someone new, and effortlessly start a conversation. No second guessing, no overthinking, just natural, smooth interaction. People enjoy talking to you. They remember you, and they look forward to seeing you again. Sounds incredible, right? Well, that's exactly what we're going to learn today. So, if you've ever struggled with conversations, stick with me till the end. And before we dive in, tell me, what's the most awkward conversation moment you've ever had? Drop it in the comments. Let's unlock the power of conversation together. First contact, body language. Starting a conversation is an art, one that takes practice to master, but once you do, it stays with you for life. Communication isn't just about what you say, it's also about how you present yourself. Your body language plays a crucial role in how people perceive you. An open and welcoming posture naturally draws people in, while a closed-off stance pushes them away. Simple gestures, like keeping your hands open and leaning slightly forward while speaking, signal openness and encourage engagement. On the other hand, crossing your arms or avoiding eye contact can make you seem distant and uninterested. One of the most effective ways to improve body language is by using the SOFTEN technique. This stands for smile, open arms, forward lean, touch, eye contact, and nod. These subtle yet powerful gestures can transform the way you communicate, making it easier to start and maintain conversations. To understand how soften works in real life, let's take the example of Mary. She was a shy girl with no friends. At family gatherings and social events, she often stood alone, feeling invisible. This isolation frustrated her, and over time, she began resenting herself for not being more social. But Mary wanted to change. She wanted to connect with people. When she learned about soften, she decided to apply it in her life. The first step was smile. People naturally mirror the energy they receive. If you greet someone with a serious expression or a cold demeanor, chances are they'll respond the same way. But if you smile, they'll likely smile back, making the conversation start on a positive note. A warm smile makes others feel valued and welcomed. Mary put this into practice. Instead of waiting for people to approach her, she made the first move, greeting others with a friendly smile, and it worked. Smiling not only made her feel more confident, but also encouraged others to engage with her. Adding a simple compliment along with a smile, such as, "Wow, you look great today," made her interactions even more effortless. Next came open arms. At social gatherings, Mary noticed that the host always welcomed guests with open arms, making everyone feel included. She realized that crossing her arms made her seem unapproachable, which kept people from talking to her. So, she started keeping her hands open and relaxed when speaking to others. This subtle change made a huge difference. People felt more comfortable around her, and conversations began to flow naturally. Then there was forward lean. Mary discovered that slightly leaning forward while talking to someone made them feel heard and valued. When she applied this, the people she spoke to responded with enthusiasm as they sensed her genuine interest in what they had to say. However, she also learned that cultural differences play a role, while leaning forward shows attentiveness. Maintaining personal space is equally important in certain situations. Another key element of soften is touch. A simple handshake can set the tone for an interaction, making it more personal and friendly. However, Mary realized that some people hesitate when it comes to physical contact, especially between men and women. While handshakes are generally acceptable in professional and social settings, it's always best to read the situation and initiate only when appropriate. The key is to offer a handshake confidently and with a smile. Most people will naturally reciprocate. Eye contact is equally important. Looking someone directly in the eyes while speaking signals confidence and attentiveness. At first, Mary found it difficult to maintain eye contact, especially with new people, but she soon learned that she didn't have to stare continuously. It wasn't a competition. A natural balance of eye contact and occasional breaks helped her come across as engaged without making others uncomfortable. Finally, there's nod, a simple yet powerful gesture that encourages the other person to continue speaking. Nodding while listening reassures them that they are being understood, even if you don't necessarily agree with everything they say. This small act can make a big difference in making conversations feel more natural and enjoyable. Beyond body language, the way you speak, your tone, your words, and your approach also plays a significant role in conversations. When combined with the soften technique, these elements make social interactions smoother and more rewarding. Master this, and you'll never struggle to find people to talk to again. Breaking the ice and getting the conversation going. After mastering body language, the next step is learning how to break the ice, making someone feel at ease and comfortable enough to engage in a conversation. But what does that really mean? Breaking the ice is about overcoming the initial hesitation, the fear of rejection, and taking that first step toward meaningful interaction. Many people hesitate to start a conversation because they worry about being ignored or rejected. But the reality is, the more you take that risk, the higher your chances of making new friends. The key is to create opportunities for conversation. Be the one to say hello first. Yes, you might be ignored sometimes, and that may feel awkward, but with practice, the fear of rejection fades. Taking the initiative also allows you to steer the conversation in a way that feels natural to you. When you start a conversation with confidence, the other person perceives you as friendly and approachable. Of course, rejection is always a possibility, but rather than focusing on the fear, shift your attention to those who are open to talking. Observe body language and approach people who seem receptive. For example, if someone is standing alone at an event, they might actually be hoping for someone to talk to them. By recognizing these signals, you can choose the right moments to initiate a conversation and reduce the chances of rejection. Once you take that first step, the next important skill is asking the right kind of questions. Simple, open-ended questions help the conversation flow naturally and encourage the other person to share more about themselves. Instead of just asking, "Where are you from?" or "What do you do?" Questions that often lead to short responses, try adding a compliment or a personal touch. For example, "That's a great scarf. Where did you get it?" Or, "I see you're carrying a book. What's it about?" These questions not only make the other person feel good, but also create an easy entry point for discussion. Even in casual encounters with strangers, simple questions can work wonders. Asking for directions or the time may seem small, but these interactions can break the initial awkwardness and make further conversation easier. The key is to focus on open-ended questions, ones that invite a story rather than a simple yes or no answer. For instance, "How did you decide to start working here?" is far more engaging than "Do you like your job?" Open-ended questions make people feel valued, giving them a chance to share something meaningful rather than just giving a quick reply. At this point, many shy people worry about running out of things to say. They get so caught up in thinking about their next response that they forget to truly listen. But the secret to great conversations isn't in saying the right things. It's in listening actively. When you genuinely listen, you naturally pick up details that you can build on. People love talking to good listeners because they feel heard and understood. Listening also means paying attention to small cues, like iceberg statements, where someone hints at something deeper. When someone says, "You won't believe what happened today," or "Something crazy happened at work." Zerania, they are inviting you to ask more. A simple, "Really? What happened?" can open up an entire conversation. Recognizing these cues and showing genuine curiosity helps keep discussions engaging and effortless. Another great technique is summarizing key points of the conversation. Repeating or rephrasing what the other person has said in a natural way shows that you're paying attention and keeps the discussion flowing. If someone is telling you about a recent trip, you might say, "So, you're saying the best part of your trip was hiking up that mountain?" That sounds incredible. This not only keeps them engaged, but also encourages them to share more. Once the conversation is going, the next step is gathering more information about the person without making them uncomfortable. The key is to be mindful of boundaries. If you want to ask something personal, it's always best to frame it with sensitivity. "I hope I'm not getting too personal, but..." This allows the other person to decide if they want to share more. If they hesitate or change the subject, respect their space and move on. Finally, one of the best ways to make conversations feel natural is by sharing a little bit about yourself. A conversation shouldn't feel like an interview. It should be a balanced exchange. While you don't need to reveal everything about yourself in the first meeting, offering small insights into your own experiences makes the other person feel comfortable opening up as well. However, if someone asks something too personal, it's okay to politely steer the conversation elsewhere. There are always plenty of interesting topics to discuss that can help break the ice and lead to deeper connections. Mastering these skills makes breaking the ice effortless, allowing you to turn brief interactions into lasting friendships. Keeping the conversation going strong. Starting a conversation is one thing, but keeping it going smoothly requires more effort. A good conversation doesn't just happen. It needs the right approach to keep both people engaged. Here are some key ways to maintain a strong and flowing discussion. One of the best ways to keep a conversation alive is to focus on the situation. Wherever you are, use your surroundings as a conversation starter. If you're at a party, you can talk about the person who invited you, comment on the food, or discuss the decorations. From there, you can naturally transition into asking about the other person. When you do this, you'll never run out of topics to talk about. People often make the mistake of overthinking during conversations, worrying about how they look, how they sound, or whether they seem interesting. The key is to shift your focus outward instead of inward. Think about the environment around you. For example, imagine you're at a health club and you notice Mary, a new member. Instead of staying silent, you could ask her why she decided to join the club. You might follow up by asking if she's been playing tennis for long or if she's just starting. You could talk about the club's trainers, facilities, or even your own fitness goals. Once the conversation starts, you can easily branch out to other topics, work, daily life, or future plans. Another great way to keep a conversation going is by finding out about the major events in someone's life. Public speaking expert Dale Carnegie once said that when you know the big events in a person's life, conversations become effortless. These major life events, whether personal achievements, travels, or hobbies, act as emotional triggers, making people eager to talk. These emotional triggers, or hot buttons, are topics that make people light up and engage more. Once you identify what excites someone, you can keep the discussion flowing naturally. Many people assume their interests are too unique to connect with others, but that's rarely the case. We often share common activities, goals, or passions with others. A simple way to uncover these hot buttons is by observing the other person's belongings. Maybe they're carrying a book, a musical instrument, or a unique bag. These objects often have a personal story behind them. Asking an open-ended question about such items can effortlessly spark a conversation. Listening carefully to iceberg statements can also help uncover meaningful discussion points. If someone says, "You won't believe what happened today," or "I've always wanted to try that," they're inviting you to ask more. Responding with curiosity, such as, "Really? What happened?" or "That sounds exciting. What made you interested in it?" can deepen the conversation. At the same time, balancing the exchange of information is crucial. A good conversation isn't about one person dominating the discussion. It's a two-way street. Think of it as passing a ball back and forth. When the other person speaks, listen, respond, and add your own thoughts before passing the conversation ball back to them. This balance ensures that both people stay engaged and feel heard. Being a great conversationalist also means paying close attention to what the other person is truly interested in. Listen with the intent to understand, not just to respond. Add your thoughts, but avoid going off on a tangent about your own experiences. The goal is to share, not overshadow. It's also helpful to discuss topics that genuinely interest you. Opening up about your thoughts, preferences, and future goals allows the other person to relate to you. But be mindful. Make sure you're creating a space where they also feel comfortable sharing their views. Conversations should feel like a mutual exchange, not a one-sided monologue. And when the moment is right, it's okay to share your concerns or challenges, but not too early in the conversation, as it may make the other person uncomfortable. Timing and context matter. Another important skill is switching topics naturally. Conversations don't need to stay on a single subject for too long. If one topic starts to lose energy, smoothly transition to something else. This keeps the interaction fresh and engaging. And if a past topic becomes relevant again, feel free to revisit it. You can say something like, going back to what you said earlier about, to reconnect with an interesting point. For example, imagine you're at a dinner with a client, but you don't want to start talking about business right away. Before the meeting, do a little research about their interests. If that's not possible, observe their cues and listen carefully to what they mention in conversation. If they talk about a recent vacation or a hobby, ask follow-up questions. If you have a similar experience, share it. This creates a connection beyond just professional discussions. Sometimes, transitioning topics can feel awkward. In such cases, trust your instincts and bring up whatever naturally comes to mind. More often than not, the other person will follow along and the conversation will continue smoothly. Mastering these techniques ensures that your conversations don't just start well, but continue to flow effortlessly, creating genuine and lasting connections. 5 seconds to success. The art of remembering names. Imagine running into someone you've met before, but their name has completely slipped your mind. You awkwardly struggle to recall it, feeling embarrassed, and all the effort you put into building that connection suddenly feels wasted. Forgetting a name is a small mistake, but it can leave a lasting impression, one that you'd rather avoid. Renowned public speaker Dale Carnegie once said, "A person's name is, to that person, the sweetest sound in any language." Remembering someone's name makes them feel important and valued. It signals that they matter to you, which naturally strengthens your connection. However, forgetting names is incredibly common. The main reason? Lack of focus. When we're introduced to someone, we're often too caught up in our own thoughts, wondering what to say next, how we're being perceived, or simply getting distracted. The key to remembering names lies in mastering a few simple yet powerful techniques. The first step is staying fully present during introductions. When someone tells you their name, give them your undivided attention. A great way to reinforce your focus is by shaking their hand as they introduce themselves. Physical engagement helps anchor the moment in your memory. Next, listen carefully instead of thinking about your response. Often, we're so preoccupied with what we'll say next that we don't truly hear the name being spoken. If you miss it, don't hesitate to ask them to repeat it. Most people appreciate the effort as it shows you genuinely want to remember their name. A simple but effective trick is repeating their name out loud right after you hear it. For example, if they say, "Hi, I'm Sarah," respond with, "Nice to meet you, Sarah." Repeating a name reinforces it in your memory while making the other person feel acknowledged. It also helps you hear the name again, increasing your chances of recalling it later. Another helpful technique is associating their name with something familiar. Connect it to someone you already know or a well-known celebrity. If you meet someone named Barbara, you might think of a famous actress or a family member with the same name. The next time you see them, that mental association will trigger their name instantly. Finally, use their name naturally throughout the conversation. Addressing someone by name while speaking to them, and even when wrapping up the conversation, makes it stick in your mind. Saying things like, "That's really interesting, Mark," or "Great talking to you, Lisa," strengthens both memory and connection. Mastering the art of remembering names is a small yet powerful skill that can leave a lasting impact on your social interactions. By staying focused, listening carefully, and using memory tricks, you'll never struggle with names again, and people will appreciate you for it. Overcoming conversational hang-ups. Fear often holds people back from having open, meaningful conversations. It can lead to misunderstandings, create barriers, and even shut down discussions before they truly begin. Many people build emotional walls when they feel judged or misunderstood, making it harder to connect with others. The key to overcoming these challenges is recognizing common conversational hang-ups and learning how to navigate them effectively. One major roadblock is the "I'm right, you're wrong" mindset. Some people approach conversations like a competition, constantly trying to prove their point or dismissing others' opinions. They say things like, "That's ridiculous. You're completely wrong." This kind of response instantly shuts people down, making them hesitant to share their thoughts. Instead of engaging in a battle of opinions, try shifting your approach. Instead of saying, "That's not true," try, "I see it from a different perspective." This small change in wording allows for a more open discussion where both people feel heard. Another common mistake is judging people too quickly. Some assume they can read others just by their appearance, the way they dress, the car they drive, or their job title. But this leads to stereotypes and prevents genuine connections. No one likes to feel labeled before they've even had a chance to speak. Before forming an opinion about someone, take the time to get to know them. Give them the same opportunity to understand you as well. Then there's the "tell me something I don't know" attitude. Acting like a know-it-all pushes people away. It's natural to be knowledgeable in certain areas, but constantly trying to prove how much you know can come across as arrogant. No one enjoys a conversation where they feel outmatched or lectured. Admitting when you don't know something isn't a weakness, it's an opportunity. If someone mentions a topic you're unfamiliar with, instead of pretending to know, say, "That's interesting. I'd love to learn more about it." People appreciate curiosity and enjoy sharing their knowledge with someone genuinely interested. Another common hang-up is the fear of being boring. Some people avoid conversations altogether by convincing themselves they have nothing interesting to say. But the truth is, everyone has stories worth sharing. If you feel like you have nothing to contribute, think about important moments in your life, personal experiences, travels, challenges you've overcome. Reflecting on these moments gives you plenty to talk about. Everyone has a unique perspective, and sharing yours can make conversations more engaging. Conversations aren't about being perfect or knowing all the right things to say. They're about connection. By shifting your mindset, letting go of self-doubt, and approaching discussions with openness and curiosity, you can overcome conversational hang-ups and enjoy more meaningful interactions. Closing conversations tactfully. After taking the first step in engaging in a meaningful conversation, it's important to know how to end it gracefully. Saying goodbye the right way leaves both you and the other person feeling positive about the interaction. A well-ended conversation ensures there's no awkward silence and keeps the door open for future discussions. One of the best ways to end a conversation is to recognize the right moment and take the initiative. Look for natural cues that indicate the discussion is winding down. Once you sense it, be the one to close it in a warm and friendly manner. Keep it positive and, if appropriate, leave an open invitation for future conversations. Saying something like, "Let's catch up over lunch next week," makes the other person feel valued and shows that you genuinely want to stay in touch. Now, imagine you're at a party and you meet someone named Jake. However, Jake is overly negative and spends the conversation complaining. You'd like to exit the conversation without being rude. How do you do it? First, show empathy to acknowledge his feelings. You might say, "I hear you. I'm sure things will work out soon." Then, smile and use his name when saying goodbye. "Take care, Jake. It was nice talking to you." This makes the farewell feel kind and respectful while allowing you to move on. In a different scenario, suppose your boss is asking you to take on extra work, but you're already committed to other tasks. How do you handle it? Politely but firmly explain that you have prior commitments. "I'd love to help, but I have other deadlines today." If your boss insists, offer a helpful alternative, such as suggesting another team member who might be available. This way, you acknowledge their need while also standing your ground. End the conversation respectfully by saying, "Thanks for understanding," boss's name. "Have a great day," and then move on. When ending a conversation with someone you've just met at an event, leave them with a friendly impression. A simple, "Julia, it was really great talking to you. Looking forward to seeing you again soon," makes the other person feel appreciated and keeps the possibility of future conversations open. Ending conversations with warmth and confidence strengthens your relationships and leaves people with a positive memory of your interaction. A thoughtful goodbye not only ensures that the conversation ends smoothly, but also increases the chances of reconnecting in the future. Conclusion. Throughout this journey, you've learned the essential skills to become a confident and engaging conversationalist. First, you discovered how body language plays a vital role in communication. When you maintain open and inviting body language, people naturally feel more comfortable approaching you. Next, you learned how to break the ice and start a conversation. While beginning a discussion can feel intimidating, taking the first step is crucial. Rejection may happen, but instead of dwelling on it, focus on the moments when conversations flowed smoothly. Asking simple and open-ended questions helps keep the interaction engaging and natural. You also mastered the art of remembering names, a simple yet powerful way to make people feel valued. When you recall someone's name, they feel important and are more likely to enjoy talking to you. Keeping a conversation going is just as important as starting one. You learned how to deepen interactions by getting to know others, asking thoughtful questions, and sharing personal insights. Balance is key. Asking the right questions while also sharing about yourself creates a meaningful exchange. You also tackled common conversational barriers, like avoiding the urge to prove you know everything. Instead, respecting different perspectives and engaging in discussions with an open mind makes interactions more enjoyable. Finally, you learned the importance of ending conversations on a positive note. A well-closed discussion leaves both parties satisfied and increases the chances of reconnecting in the future. Now that you've completed this summary, you should feel more confident in your ability to start and maintain engaging conversations. Whether you're stepping into a new job, entering a new school, or attending a social event next week, use these techniques to navigate interactions effortlessly. Step outside, meet new people, and let your presence attract meaningful connections. You now have the power, so don't let any opportunity to build relationships slip away. And there you have it, the secrets to starting conversations, making friends, and keeping interactions effortless. But remember, knowledge alone won't change anything. Real transformation happens when you take action. So, here's your challenge. The next time you meet someone new, apply just one technique from this summary. Maybe it's remembering their name, using open body language, or asking an engaging question. Watch how the conversation unfolds and how people respond differently. The best way to become great at conversations is to practice. Each interaction is an opportunity to grow, to connect, and to build relationships that matter. So don't wait. Go out, start talking, and make every conversation count. If you found this summary helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more life-changing insights. And let me know in the comments, which conversation tip are you going to try first? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep making meaningful connections.